In the year 615 AD, deep in the heart of Africa, a just Christian king welcomes refugees from a distant land.
He looks at them and asks, "What do you say about the Messiah?" One of the men replies, and his words bring the king to tears. Come with me. Let's journey to Africa, where one of the most powerful moments in human history unfolded.
In the heart of the world stood the city of Mecca. From among its mountains emerged a man in his 40s. His name was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. He stood before his people and declared, "I am a prophet sent by God and the seal of all prophets and messengers." He was sent to a people who worshipped idols, and he called them to believe in the one God, forbidding injustice and corruption, warning them against persisting in their misguided ways. But they met him with stubborn rejection and defiance. They tortured those who believed in him, beat the weak, and imprisoned the men and women who followed him. The persecution grew unbearable. Some were dragged across the burning sands of Mecca under the blazing sun. Others were beaten until blood ran down their foreheads. They were denied food and water, hunted in the streets, and treated as outcasts. Their condition was enough to break the heart before the eyes. They could endure no more. One day, the door opened quietly. The Prophet ﷺ entered with calm, steady steps. He looked into the faces of his companions, one by one, as if reading the unspoken pain in their eyes. All eyes lifted toward him, waiting for words that could open a path to safety. With a gentle voice and eyes full of mercy, he said, "Your trials have reached their limit. It is time you found a refuge. In the land of Abyssinia, there is a king under whose rule no one is wronged." He paused, letting the words sink into their hearts before continuing, "Go to his country, and God will grant you relief and a way out from what you are facing." The believers set out toward Abyssinia. When they arrived, the king welcomed them and granted them protection. But when Quraysh and Mecca learned that these Muslims had escaped to a place of safety, they were enraged. Determined to bring them back, they sent two men, Amr ibn al-As and Abdullah ibn Abi Rabi'a, bearing lavish gifts for the Negus, king of Abyssinia, and for his nobles. When the envoys arrived, they met the king, presented the gifts, and spoke ill of the Muslims. The Negus, however, chose not to act until he had heard from the refugees themselves. He summoned the Muslims to his court. A long and dignified dialogue followed between Ja'far ibn Abi Talib and the Negus. When the king asked what their prophet taught them, Ja'far stood and replied, "O king, we were a people steeped in ignorance. We worshipped idols, ate the flesh of dead animals, committed acts of immorality, severed family ties, mistreated neighbors, and the strong among us oppressed the weak. We remained in this state until God sent us a messenger from among ourselves whose lineage, truthfulness, trustworthiness, and chastity we already knew. He called us to worship God alone and abandon what we and our fathers worship besides him, of stones and idols. He commanded us to speak the truth, fulfill our trusts, maintain family bonds, treat our neighbors well, refrain from what is forbidden, and from bloodshed. He forbade us from immoral acts, false speech, consuming the wealth of orphans, and slandering chaste women. He commanded us to worship God alone, without associating anything with him, and to establish prayer, give alms, and fast." Ja'far continued, "We believed in him, followed him, and lived by what he brought from God. We worshipped God alone, forbidding what he forbade, and allowing what he permitted. But our people rose against us. They tortured us, tried to turn us back to idol worship, and to permit again the evils we had abandoned. When they overpowered and oppressed us, making life unbearable and blocking us from practicing our faith, we fled to your land. We chose you above all others, seeking your protection and hoping that here, O king, we would not be wronged." When Ja'far finished, the Negus said, "This and what Moses brought come from the same source of light. Go, for by God, I will never hand you over to them." But Amr ibn al-As was not ready to give up. As they left, he said to Abdullah ibn Abi Rabi'a, "Tomorrow, I will tell him something about them that will uproot their presence here." Abdullah warned him, "Do not. These people are our kin, even if they differ from us." But Amr insisted, "I will tell him they claim that Jesus, the son of Mary, is only a servant." The next day, Amr approached the king. "O king, they speak an outrageous thing about Jesus, son of Mary." The Negus sent for the Muslims again. The moment was tense. They gathered and said to one another, "What will we say if he asks us about Jesus?" They agreed, "We will say only what God has said and what our prophet has taught us, no matter what happens." When they stood before the king, he asked, "What do you say about Jesus, son of Mary?" Ja'far replied, "We say of him what our prophet brought us. He is the servant of God, his messenger, his spirit, and his word, which he cast into Mary, the pure virgin." The Negus bent down, picked up a small stick from the ground, and said, "By God, Jesus, son of Mary, did not differ from what you have said by even the width of this stick." His bishops murmured in protest, but the king silenced them. Even if you grumble, they are safe here. Whoever insults them will pay a fine, yes, emphatically 3 times over. By God, I would not wish to have a mountain of gold if it meant I harmed a single one of them. Return to them their gifts. We have no need for them. God did not take a bribe from me when he gave me back my kingdom, so why should I take a bribe concerning them? Nor did the people obey me when God restored my throne, so I will not obey them against these people. The Quraysh envoys left in disgrace, their gifts returned. The Muslims remained in Abyssinia, living in the best of homes under the care of the best of neighbors.